usual. And what's up, replay viewers? Let's see, where's this graphic gonna go? I want the graphic right there. What's up, replay viewers? Let's see who tunes on in. Jack, Majors Minis, first one in the room, and Darlene, welcome. Sally Sipico, good to see you. Adriana, welcome. Dave Jeffries in Niagara Falls, good to see you. Michelle King and Amtrak Zephyr, welcome. Good to see you, Din Din. Good to see you, Tan, welcome. You're more than welcome for this. Good to see you, Gail and Tom Frank Cohen in Tucson, Arizona. Absolutely, never forget. Good to see you, Jen, out there in the great state of Minnesota. And Leela, welcome. Robert T, good to see you. And Wilbs driving the Northern Line, welcome. Good to see you, Jazz Lady. And Chiladian, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Good to see you, Darlene. And Nadine Smith, welcome. Good to see you, Jay Chulo, welcome. And Mary Lily, welcome. Good to see you, Adriana. Good to see you, Dindin. Good to see you, Candor, welcome. Good to see you, Robert T. Good to see you, Lorraine Raymond. Good to see you, Neil, out here in Flatbush. And Stephen Bate, welcome. Stephen Bate, welcome. Sunshine after the rain, good to see you. Patrick, good to see you. Deborah's in Dumbo, welcome. Nick Nagler, welcome. Marty, welcome. Jeff Petiglig out there in Iowa, welcome. Liz, aloha. Jay Chulo, welcome. Figments, welcome. John Capola in Florida, welcome. Madam Mojo, good to see you. DeBailey, you should be asleep, but you're staying up late. We got some beautiful views coming up, Deb. Good to see you. Love for Love, good to see you. JR TV, welcome. Good to see everybody. Welcome to downtown Brooklyn. Good to see you, G Monster, welcome. Good to see you, Lotus. New Yorker, now living in Florida, nice. Darian Wills, welcome. And Toth, welcome. All right, looks like we have everybody. Good to see everybody. Welcome to downtown Brooklyn. Let me lighten it up for you guys. We are in the wide angle lens there. How's everyone doing on this Monday? Good to see you, John Lore. Welcome, Cliff. Good to see you. It has stopped raining, and we are in the clear until at least 10 o'clock. We should get all the views I want to show you guys before 10 o'clock. Lisa, UK girl, good to see you. I'm happy it stopped raining too. Me and the Duchess were crossing this very street about an hour ago, and the street became a river. It was incredibly wet, but now it's drying out. It's a little bit cooler. The humidity's definitely knocked down a bit. But good to see everybody. Welcome. Good to see you, John. Welcome. We have all the Johns in the house. Good to see everybody. Great views of the Tribute in Light as we make our way around. I can't believe it is the 8th year I'm doing this. You have insomnia, G Monster? 1 o'clock in the morning out there in the UK. Good to see you, John the Barber. Welcome. All the Johns are in the house. Good to see you, John the Barber, and John Lore. And John Capola. Wander this way, welcome. We're going to see Tribute in Light from a whole bunch of different vantage points. I will show you guys where the lights emanate from. Good to see you, Tiffany, out there in Chicago. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well on this Monday. But we're starting out in downtown Brooklyn because that's where me and the Duchess went hunkering down with the rain. Decided to get me a nice big steak cheeseburger at Junior's, and it was delicious. So now it's time for me to walk off my burger. What is with the vehicles on Full Street? They should not be there. Well, I guess some people don't care about the bus only rule, but whatever. Kate S, welcome. If you've never seen the Tribute in Light before, we're going to see it from a whole bunch of different vantage points today. It is now turning into a beautiful night. Dave in Bangor, Maine, welcome. Esteban, buenvenidos. And MM804 with a $5 super chat. MM804, thank you so much for the very generous $5 super chat. Thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's live stream. Much appreciated. With a very generous $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Lewis and Maniac, good to see you. Good to see everybody. And I did not have drinks with the burger. I just had a Coke or a Pepsi. They have Pepsi at Junior's. They don't have Coke. I had a Pepsi, but it was delicious. Nonetheless, the steak fries filled me up. Good to see you, Ed Allen. Welcome. Good to see everybody, people. We're going to get a very interesting view here because we have clouds at around 2,000 to 3,000 feet. So we're going to see these twin beams of light go right into the clouds. And we have two of them. Whoa. This is coming fast and furious. We have John the Barber with a very generous $5 super chat. And Jack Spencer with a $10 super chat. Jack, thank you so much for joining today's $5 club 2 times today. And John the Barber, thank you for joining today's $5 club. Much appreciated. Absolutely, for all the FDNY members who passed 22 years ago, and to the fire department members who have died since. We're almost equal to the number lost 22 years ago. But Jack Spencer and John the Barber, thank you so much for your generosity. Christine Collins with a $5 super chat. Christine Collins, thank you so much for the very generous $5 super chat. Thank you so much for joining today's $5 club. Much appreciated with a very generous $5 super chat. Alfred Hinkle with a $3 super chat. Alfred, thank you so much for the very generous $3 super chat. Thank you so much for joining today's $3 club. Much appreciated with a very generous $3 super chat. Thank you guys so much. It is much appreciated. Thanks for sponsoring the live stream and sponsoring the channel. And G Monster with a £5 super chat. G Monster, thank you so much for the very generous £5 super chat. Thank you so much for joining today's with a very generous £5 super chat. You guys are being awfully kind tonight, so thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for all the super chats. You're more than welcome, John the Barber. Thank you so much for your generosity and sponsoring tonight's live stream. If you want more information about the tribute and light, it is down below. I'll talk about more of the tribute and light when we get closer to the base of the lights. But yes, indeed, thank you guys so much for all the super chats. Much appreciated. What's going on here with the chat? Chat doesn't want to advance. Good to see you, Edgar. Edgar Gonzalez, welcome, and Sebastian Escavera, welcome. We'll go on into the show, gentlemen. And Deborah in Dumbo with a $20 super chat. Deborah, thank you so much for the very generous $20 super chat. Thank you so much for joining today's $5 club 4 times today. Much appreciated with a very generous $20 super chat. And Mary Lily with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Mary Lily, with a very generous $5 super chat. Thanks for joining today's $5 club. Much appreciated. You know, you guys have no idea how much this helps me out mentally, so the super chats are like all icing on the cake. So really do thank you for that. It really humbles me tremendously. Good to see you, Phyllis 2284, welcome. And Michelle K, welcome. But thank you guys so much for sponsoring tonight's live stream. It is deeply appreciated on a day like today. I always say I don't do my live streams for necessarily views and super chats. As a tour guide, this kind of helps me out mentally. And on a day like today, this helps me out mentally too. It's very cathartic to kind of show you guys this. And what we're going to see today is you're going to see all the different levels in the atmosphere today. So we may see like 3 different layers in the atmosphere today. It's going to look pretty cool. But thank you so much, guys, for the super chats. I really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys so much. If it's your first time joining me, welcome. If you're joining me again for a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, maybe even 8th year, thank you so much for tuning on in. We will be walking Brooklyn Bridge later on. Walking the Brooklyn Bridge, making our way down and around downtown Lower Manhattan before we ultimately end at Memorial Plaza.
You vlogging?
I'm not vlogging, I'm live streaming. You're live right now. There's people watching you right now.
What's up, dudes?
Hey. Anyway. Yes, indeed, JR. Yes, indeed. I hope we get a snowstorm too, John. Snowstorms are the live stream bread and butter. It's money, like money in the bank. Like money in the bank.
Watch out,
Yeah, Phyllis. You know, Phyllis, it is hard to imagine it's been 22 years. I could tell everything what's going on. I could tell you everything I was doing on this day. So it kind of feels like yesterday. It feels like a week ago. If I to really put it down, feels like a week ago. But seeing a little bit of humor today. Get a little bit. We got a little laugh. We get a little laugh. Everyone thinks I'm vlogging. Do I look like Casey Neistat? Anyway, and Gail, you guys are being way too kind. Gail and Tom Frank Cohen out there in Tucson, Arizona, with a $5 super chat. Gail and Tom Frank Cohen, thank you so much for the very generous $5 super chat. Thank you so much for joining today's $5 club. Much appreciated with a very generous $5 super chat. You guys are being way too kind today, so thank you. You got me and the Duchess's juniors, so thank you guys so much. It does seem like yesterday. I will be careful out here, Darian Willis. It feels more recent than 2 decades, yeah. Yeah. I mean, what never gets... I guess the one main thing I like to think about is you know, I always watch a little bit. I used to watch the whole thing, but I can't anymore. But the reading of the names, and once again this year it took 3 hours and about 45 minutes to read the 2,753 people who died at the World Trade Center. So that never gets old, and it still gives me the same feeling I felt the first time I heard the reading of the names. I was there for the first reading of the names. So I was right across the street on West Street. And I'll never forget, after the ending of the reading of the names for the first time, everyone who was watching where we were on West Street, it was like West Street and Murray. When we were leaving, I'll never forget this. I want to say it was a German Shepherd. It was a rather large dog. Took a massive dump in front of the crowd that was leaving. And somebody said in the crowd, you know, life goes on. The dog shits again. And everyone collectively looked around, and yeah, life goes on no matter what. So no matter how hard of a day you may be having, no matter what's going on in your life personally, it may be tough, it may be rough, but life will go on, and you just gotta, you know, if you're going through tough times, just button down and try to help out your fellow man, help out yourself. It will get better. You're not alone. Just remember that. Nobody's ever alone. Yeah, no, Adriana, yeah, you're watching a documentary yesterday? Yeah, there were a few shows going on. Yeah, no, the view from the top of the garage is pretty phenomenal, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately we won't be going on top of the garage. We're going to be staying at the bottom of it. Always thought the light came from the old... No, G-Monster. Actually, the tower, the Tribune light never emanated from the exact spot of where the Twin Towers used to stand. The first year we had the Tribune light in 2002, it was actually in the parking lot where they set up the tent to search for unidentified remains. The tent was called the Taj Mahal. It was a rather large tent. And that was the first time, that was the first spot they had the Tribune light, just a few months after September 11th. Then on that first anniversary, the second time ever since, they set up the Tribune light on top of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel parking garage. And yes, indeed, 40% have no body part, anything. So I always tell people, when you visit the memorial, you want to always be very respectful, because for a lot of people, that name on that bronze tablet there is the only thing left of their loved one. There is a special room for unidentified remains in the museum that is closed to the public, and that's underneath the North Tower. Good to see you there, Eric. Oh yeah, very sad, Eric. Very sad. But I can't believe it's been 22 years ago either. It seems like a lifetime ago, yet it seems like yesterday. There you go. Just yesterday, 2 more people were identified. Wow, that's incredible. Well, hopefully those families get a little bit of closure. Your grandmother's former boss passed away. Very tragic. I'm sorry. Yeah. Your first call was to Norman. Yeah. Yeah, walked home from Manhattan. Yeah, he did. My dad also walked home from Manhattan also that day. My dad walked all the way home from the United Nations on 42nd Street. And remember watching the whole thing on the TV in your barbershop. Yeah. Yeah, with the new advancements in DNA, they could hopefully be able to identify more remains. And again, hopefully bringing closure to all those families. There you go. Oh yeah. Yeah, John Law, I know you guys, I mean, some of the big unsung heroes of September 11th were all the members of transit. They kept the city moving. And a lot of people who worked in transit also did make the ultimate sacrifice, whether it be on that terrible day or years since. But the number of firemen is almost equal to the amount of people we lost 22 years ago. Yes, indeed. Good to see you, Kumro. You're more than welcome. Yeah, nothing you saw on TV. Words can't describe what it looked downtown. So it was pretty intense. Coming to Staten Island on the ferry. No, I'm not, Cynthia. No, I'm not. Good to see you, RJ. Never forget, indeed. That's why I'm out here doing this. And I'm happy that the rain cleared. I was a little nervous we would have to cancel today because it was downpouring pretty heavy. And I don't feel like sacrificing another Gimble to the rain gods. But good to see you, Ben. Making our way down to the Brooklyn Promenade right now. For everyone just tuning in. Absolutely, Louisa.
How was it?
Gary Carpenter, welcome. If I missed you, welcome to the show. Lotus, you're telling me about the smell? The smell gives me PTSD. It was a mix of welding, burning paper, and diesel. That's what it smelled like downtown for all those months. JP, good to see you. The Brooklyn Heights Promenade was where you went on September 11th. Yeah. A lot of people were on the promenade. Now, we may come across a bit of a ceremony. So, no, Minoru Yamasaki never saw that the tower was destroyed, but the head of the structural engineer, Leslie Robertson, he saw the Twin Towers collapse outside of his office window. And he was the one who actually, he did the engineering behind the Twin Towers. And there's a whole bunch of videos of him recounting that here on YouTube. And very, very, you feel that you can see the pain in his eyes because he designed that amazing buildings. We're never going to see buildings like the Twin Towers ever again. By volume, they were 70% air. Each floor an acre of space, column free. Each floor section 6 to 8 feet wide by 50 feet long, held in place by 6 to 8 bolts, about 4 inches long. A truss design. The truss held up the interior core and the exterior wall. Again, incredibly light structure. Yeah, you remember when the wind, what direction the wind blew, right? Yeah. You remember when the news actually set up a special graphic for where the smoke was going to go? Who remembers that? I'll never forget that. They had like this weather map which showed you where the smoke was going to go, and it mostly came to Brooklyn, but people in New Jersey and Queens and Staten Island, definitely smelled it too. And of course, everyone in Manhattan, especially if you were down in Chinatown, Little Italy, Soho, Chelsea, Tribeca, especially Tribeca, you may have really smelled it bad over there, depending on the wind direction. Paper from the World Trade Center made it as far south as Coney Island. But if we were here, there would be paper in the trees, dust everywhere. You wonder if they knew that about the buildings. Probably not. It wasn't common knowledge about the engineering behind the Twin Towers. Okay, look, we're having the prayer ceremony here. We're having the prayer ceremony. I'm going to be a little quiet now because there's people here doing a prayer, right? Or no, just people here gathered. They usually do like a candlelight thing here.
Yeah, not the 17.
Here we are.
Oh, okay.
They might need some help.
Okay. All right.
Arjan, welcome. Hertha, you're more than welcome. I'm so happy the everything has cleared up. If you guys remember from last year, we were in the rain last year. The lights really didn't go up that high last year because of the low clouds, so it's nice to see them going up into the clouds today. And it looks like we're going to clear out too, so you're going to really see these in many different forms here tonight. I always say words don't adequately put what it looks like in person. I mean, you got to really strain your head to look all the way up. Now, when these clouds clear, these lights got to go straight all the way up. Yeah, there was a rainbow right around sunset. Unfortunately, we couldn't see it here in downtown Brooklyn, but we know in Manhattan, a couple of my friends got some pictures of the rainbow that happened about an hour ago. It does look amazing. $88 xenon bulbs, 4,000 watts each. They radiate about 4 miles straight up into the sky. And if you were to have a mirror on the moon and had a special light meter, you would be able to register the return of that light. That is how powerful they are. Good to see you, Joey. Welcome. Never forget me, John. Never forget. Let's make our way. Let's make our way down here. Audrey, absolutely, Audrey. That's what us New Yorkers do. That's what we do. As I have said here on the promenade, probably thousands of times, you can knock down the biggest buildings in the city. We're just going to build them back bigger and better than before. That's what being a New Yorker is. Strength in adversity. And just being kind. I always say the people who are, if you're visiting New York and you encounter an unhappy person, there's two reasons. They're either in a rush to get somewhere, or they're not a New Yorker. Zoe Silva, welcome. Cody, you're more than welcome. Got some drones, helicopters are out. Absolutely, Robert, good to see you. Absolutely, that's what you're supposed to do today. Do a selfless act for a stranger today, or this week, if you haven't done it yet. There's one thing I recommend doing. Go to your local food pantry. Do you have any extra food in your pantry, in your kitchen, that you know you're not going to use? Donate it to the food pantry. Anything helps. I could guarantee you that within a mile of your home, there is somebody dealing with food insecurity. Emily, good to see you.
Crazy. So I went to the B&H event with...
And whoa, Phyllis, that is way too kind of you. Phyllis, $22.84 with a $250 super chat. Thank you so much for joining today's $5 club. So many times I can't even count. Thank you so much with the very, very generous. Phyllis, you keep doing this every month and I really do appreciate it. Phyllis, thank you so much for the very generous $250 super chat. That is way too kind of you, Phyllis. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Phyllis and everyone who has super chatted, y'all are being way too kind and giving tonight, so thank you. I'm hoping for whoever watches this broadcast, either live right now or on a replay. I hope you find this video brings you some solace. But 50 times, Phyllis, thank you so much for joining today's $5 club 50 times today. Much appreciated. You're more than welcome, Jay. Thanks for tuning in. We're just going to see the Tribune and Light. If you're just tuning in from many different vantage points, we're starting out here at the Brooklyn Promenade. The original idea tonight was to get sunset, but we didn't get too much of a sunset. It was downpouring rain. But I'm happy that the skies have cleared and are continuing to clear. When we get out onto the Brooklyn Bridge, we're going to see all the lights of the city. You may notice that a lot of buildings are lit up in blue. And that is in honor of everyone we've lost 22 years ago and since. So... tell your neighbors you love them. Hug your loved ones. Cherish those moments. Yeah, Cody, it looks like it's going to clear up and we're going to see these beams of light go as far into the heavens as they could possibly go. And it is an incredible sight when you see it. As we're here on the third deck of the triple cantilever of the Brooklyn Heights Promenade. Of course, we'll stop in the middle of the Brooklyn Bridge, get in some views over there, and continue on. And JL2 with a $10 super chat. JL2, thank you so much for the very generous $10 super chat. Thank you so much for joining today's $5 club 2 times today. Much, much, much appreciated with a very generous $10 super chat. I'm glad I appreciate that you appreciate my sunsets. More exciting sunsets to come. Believe you me. Believe you me. But thank you so much, JL2, for the very generous $10 super chat. You guys are being way too kind tonight. Phyllis, again, thank you so much for... Phyllis is literally paying my cell phone bill, so thank you, Phyllis. something like half the population alive today was born after September 11th. Now we're gonna make our way up onto, let's get one last view here. Let's get one last view of the tribute from the promenade before we make our way over to Cadman Plaza and Brooklyn Bridge. Cody was born in 93. Oh my God. Cody, I have memories from 93. There was good music in 93. And Phyllis, thank you so much for being a member of Dutch Moz Plus for the last year. Thank you so much to all the channel members. Thanks to all the channel members, this broadcast is brought to us in 1080. And thank you guys so much. The more channel members we get, the more time I'm able to spend doing this. Look at this. As the clouds clear, look at how high up those beams go. You can turn your head all the way back and it just keeps on going. It just keeps on going. With the different clouds here, you really get a really good perspective on how powerful these xenon bulbs are. It's really incredible, incredible view. So like I said, the first time they did Tribute in Light, it was just to the north of where One World Trade Center stands today. It was in the parking lot of what is today 200 West Street. In that parking lot was a rather large tent called the Taj Mahal, and that tent was used to identify all the remains that were collected from the pile, if you will. And then on the first anniversary of September 11th, and since, the lights have been set up where they are today on top of the parking garage, just south of the World Trade Center at the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel parking garage. You can see it in space. Yes. Yes, indeed, Adriana. I mean, you really get an idea of how powerful these lights are. Just incredible. Now that the sky has cleared, we could tilt our head all the way back, and they go all the way up. They go all the way up. So they go up 4 miles, Phyllis. But if we were to get a mirror, put that mirror on the moon, and if the moon put itself in the proper position, you'll be able to register the light back if you had a light meter. That's how powerful this is. It's incredible. And the folks who put this together, by the way, is the Municipal Arts Society and Creative Time. Margaret, you're more than welcome. Absolutely, John. Very inspirational, and just makes you reflect and think. All right. I think we're going to leave the promenade now, and we're going to make our way on to Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, yeah, you remember that picture, G Monster? Yeah, that was from the International Space Station, that picture. Stephanie, I appreciate that. I'm doing good, Stephanie. Oh my goodness, JL, you still have a menu from Windows on the World? Wow, that's cool, JL. I would treasure that. I would treasure that. But Stephanie Stearns, good to see you. I'm doing well. I have to, like I say every year, me doing this broadcast is very cathartic for me. It helps me out, considering that I had to work downtown, and luckily I haven't had any health issues from working downtown. I consider myself very lucky. So, yeah. But I appreciate everyone tuning into this live stream right now. And again, it's very, yeah, Din, I watched the beginning and the end of the reading of the names. This year it took roughly 3 hours and 40 minutes to read all 2,753 names. And yeah, that last run of names, you know, they read the names in alphabetical order, and then the last round of names, they go through the entire alphabet one more time. And sometimes they'll say a name again in case it was misread by one of the readers. So they just go through the list again in alphabetical order. And when you realize that it's almost 4 hours it takes to do that, it's incredible. I'm so sorry, John Capola. Plast, welcome. But having to work downtown in the days, weeks, and months after September 11th, smell that smell that I will definitely never forget. Again, to do this broadcast, this is my 8th year doing this, kind of helps me out too. Kind of helps me out. As we walk through the quiet streets of Brooklyn Heights at the moment, making our way over to Cadman Plaza. We got to kind of cut across Cadman Plaza and then make our way up onto Brooklyn Bridge. Yeah, you remember that, Deborah? It was the dust, I think, that got to me. I mean, the dust was just got in everything, and it was like that for like 9 months. The site burned for 6 months, but they were still cleaning up debris up until about 9 months after September 11th. May 30th, 2002, the final beam was removed from the World Trade Center. But yeah, 340 firemen have died since September 11th. On that horrible day, 343 firemen died. And from what I heard, it was close to 2,000 have died since, when you count all the office workers, police officers, EMTs, Port Authority police officers. Something like 2,000 have died since. Cody, I would love to show the museum, but unfortunately, you cannot really get a cell phone signal in the museum. And also the museum is closed for the day. The museum closed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. As we pass the Assumption Parish little church here. Tiffany asks, where was I? I just got home from work on September 11th. I worked overnight that night, but I had to come back to work 5 days after September 11th. The site burned for 6 months. And at 21 years old, I basically reevaluated my life. What is the value of my time? What is the value of $1 in my life? Having to go to work, smell that smell. You couldn't open the windows in my building. I was in an office building about 6 blocks away from the World Trade Center. They assured us that our workspaces were clean, or cleaned. They were not. We had to clean our own workspaces. And on a side note, when COVID hit and we had to wear masks again, I was like, I wore masks 22 years ago, so not a big deal. And a KN95 mask at that, because what a lot of people may not remember about the dust that emanated from the World Trade Center was like talcum powder. It was very fine, a very fine dust. So it was very easy to kick up and breathe in. And it was around like forever. It wouldn't go away. Of course, the security guards who worked at the building that I worked at, 55 Water Street. The security guards, they were listening to the radio all the time. They were listening to the police scanner all the time, and they were, you know, they were finding body parts for weeks on some of the rooftops and alleyways around Lower Manhattan. Absolutely, Lois. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And that's where I was. Just got home from work. Went back to World Trade Center on the 13th of September. And just to go around, see what it looked like downtown. Somehow me and my best friend at the time made our way down there. I went down there with the intention of taking pictures. I ended up taking no pictures at all. Nuclear winter was a good way of describing it. But yeah, no, the mask definitely did save me. My mom was very adamant on me wearing my mask when I was in the building. So good to see you, Ange. Welcome. And Amelie out there in England, welcome. Good to see you, Ange. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying dry this afternoon and evening. It was certainly raining pretty hard not that long ago, but hope you got to see the rainbow. Some of my friends up on the west side got a picture of a rainbow about an hour ago. My favorite story to come out of 9/11 is of a window washer. This window washer was in the express elevator going to the 3rd Sky Lobby, and he was traveling in that elevator with 5 other office workers. And once the North Tower got hit by the first aircraft, they were stuck between the 69th and 70th floors. And the window washer knew something very important, that the Twin Towers are some of the lightest buildings ever constructed by humans. By volume, they were 70% air. There are also no masonry walls in the Twin Towers. It was just 2 pieces of sheetrock that separated the office shafts and stairways from the working office floors. The window washer knew this. So what he did was he took the rubber piece out of his squeegee. He used the metal handle of the squeegee to hack away against the wall. And they created a hole in the wall. They actually come out into a men's room, into a bathroom. They begin to walk down the 70 flights of stairs. During that time, the 2nd tower is hit by the 2nd aircraft. The South Tower collapses. And by the time they're down on the street level, there are no police officers or firemen able to help them escape. They make it about 1 block north, and then the North Tower collapses. You can see that squeegee handle today in the 9/11 Memorial Museum. And it's by far my favorite artifact because it saved 6 people's lives. Amelie, I'm so sorry for your loss. Everyone who lost a family member or a friend or a work colleague, I am really sorry for your loss. My deepest condolences. I know it doesn't get easy. Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, do you think?
Yeah, Deborah, there's actually a video about the squeegee story here on YouTube. Check it out. It's an amazing video, an amazing story. Lorraine Raymond, welcome. Brooklyn Bridge. If this bridge had a story to tell, of course, one of the most iconic views or pictures from that day was everybody walking out of Manhattan across Brooklyn Bridge. And another story that a lot of people don't remember is that September 11th was the largest peacetime peacetime evacuation by water. Some 120,000 people were rescued from lower Manhattan on various ferries, tugboats, and even a canoe or two. Most of the people that were stuck on the far west side in Battery Park City, near the Winter Garden World Financial Center, they all were mass evacuated from the North Cove at Battery Park City. CM, good to see you. Lotus, have a good night. They just go straight up. They just go straight up. Got some people running. Got some people running with the flag. Got a fire truck coming over the bridge. Yeah, anybody who had a boat helped out in the evacuation. And it was some 120,000 people. I think the only time that came close was during World War II. A massive water evacuation. And I'm pretty sure that the video is in focus. So if the video is not in focus, please restart the live stream. Looks like we have a special run happening. ABX girl, welcome. Crystal clear, thank you. Absolutely, Stephanie. Looks fine to you, crystal clear. Appreciate that, guys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the video is coming through good. We're at a max signal. We'll see how that is when we get to the middle of the bridge. It is humid as hell out here. It's very soupy, my love, that's right. JJ, hello. Good to see ya. Neil, we're going to see if there's any vendors. Yes, indeed, Ben. Well, Manhattan Island has around 1,400,000 who live on Manhattan Island. And I'm talking about the people who were stranded downtown. So there were quite a few people stranded downtown. Had to get back to Jersey somehow. Had to get off of Lower Manhattan somehow. So all these boats came into the North Cove of Battery Park City. And that story in itself is pretty incredible. So beautiful indeed, yeah. Very powerful. Very powerful. But boy, the stories the Brooklyn Bridge could tell. This Brooklyn Bridge, completed at the dawn of electricity, saw the birth of the skyscrapers, saw buildings get taller than 1,000 feet. Saw this city really grow up around it. Deming, good to see you. But you're more than welcome. Everyone who's enjoying this, thank you. Appreciate it. I'll tell you, the 140-year-old Brooklyn Bridge definitely has a story to tell. All those hundreds of thousands of people coming across the bridge on foot took over the whole bridge. And it was like that for like 6 hours. Covered in people. Just completely covered in people coming out of Manhattan. My dad was one of those people. Walked all the way home from the United Nations to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. Some 18 miles. You had to do what you had to do to get home that day. Yeah, got a lot of people running over the bridge. Of course, we're gonna stop when we hit the when we get to the center of the bridge. When we get to the expansion joint, that's when we're gonna stop and take in the view. I feel you, Barnabas. Good to see you, man. Emotional Day in DICU. Welcome. But Barnabas, I feel you. Yeah, Deborah, I think maybe the rain scared away all the vendors, but we'll see. I think we're speaking a little bit too soon. There's probably going to be some vendors on the Manhattan side. So, and we're not going to focus on the vendors. At least we have this stretch of the bridge to enjoy. But when we get to the center of the bridge, we'll take a look at all these buildings that are lit up in blue in honor of this sad day here in New York. Wow. Well, Gail and Tom Frank, thank your son and everyone who is a first responder, went into the military because of this. Thank you for your service. Absolutely, JJ, yeah. As we now approach the center span of the bridge. Boy, Brooklyn Bridge. Seen a lot. Every time I think about this bridge, it really does. It's so incredible how much this bridge has seen. And it's still standing. That's the most important part. The Brooklyn Bridge may have been destroyed by Godzilla, taken out by the day after tomorrow, but it's still here. All right, we are approaching the expansion joint to the bridge. Let's go to stay right here. Right by this garbage can here. Right, the bridge has seen 2 world wars. I mean, Jimmy Z out there in New Jersey. Peace and love to you too out there in Jersey City. Look at this. The sky has cleared, and these 2 beams of light go all the way up. It's incredible that I have to strain my head all the way back to show you guys all the lights going all the way up. We can see this from about 60 miles away. Any estimates on how many vehicles were lost on September 11th? I think a couple of thousand, or maybe 2,000 vehicles were destroyed. On September 13th, when I was getting back to the Brooklyn Bridge at sunrise, they parked all the cars along the side streets in Lower Manhattan that were in the immediate area, and to have car after car flattened like a pancake. Some cars were even stacked on top of themselves, 2, 3 high, parked like regular cars. It was a surreal sight. That's another thing I'll never forget. Brooklyn Bridge withstood a couple of earthquakes, yes indeed. Wow, a single window pane survived. Wow, that's incredible. Mighty Bull, welcome to the show. So now we're going to look towards Midtown. Here at Midtown, you see all the buildings lit up in blue. The Municipal Arts Society coordinated this. This is another thing that the Municipal Arts Society puts together, requesting all the buildings here in Manhattan and around the city to be lit up in blue in honor of September 11th. I'm sorry to hear that, Edward. Thanks for tuning on in. There you go. Approximately 1,400 trucks, police cars, ambulances, and other vehicles were lost within an hour of September 11th. So yeah. But stay safe out there in South Africa. Yes, indeed. Kathleen, the greatest skyline in the world, Kathleen. Greatest skyline in the world. Let's continue on. We're now going to make our way off Brooklyn Bridge and now into Lower Manhattan. Pretty sizable crowd tonight here on Brooklyn Bridge. Of course, One World Trade Center does reference the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. Where the glass stops at the base of the needle is roughly the same height as the original Twin Towers. The lights stay on all night until sunrise. Zootro, welcome to the show. 1,368 feet tall, correct. And then the needle alone is 407 feet tall, creating the ultimate height of 1,776 feet or 542 meters tall, referencing our independence. Freedom Tower is a nickname that was put together by George Pataki. He kind of uttered those words kind of completely at random and spontaneously. The official name of One World Trade, the official name of the building is One World Trade Center. I always say it's the World Trade Center. It's not Ground Zero. When there was people work there, people live nearby. It's the World Trade Center. And in a way, it's very much a living monument to everyone we have lost since and on that day. Terror attacks happened when they did, because if they would have happened just 90 minutes later, it would have been a completely different story. The death toll may have been triple of what it ultimately was on that sad day. William Rivas, you're more than welcome, Rivas. Good to see you from Chicago. Thanks for tuning on in. Good to see you from Atlanta, Sonar 14, welcome. Thank you all for tuning on in. Absolutely, Kelly. Wow. Wow, Stephanie, happy birthday to your son. Wow. I always say the best way you could honor everyone we lost on that sad day was go about your life, live your life. But more importantly, be of service to somebody. Help your neighbor. A simple, kind gesture could go a long way. Also, if there's a food pantry in your neighborhood and you got some extra food in your kitchen or in your pantry, donate some food to your local food pantry. Or more importantly, volunteer. Or maybe help them out with $1 or $2. Any little bit helps. Keith, good to see you. Welcome. But I'm doing good today, Keith. Donate winter clothing, absolutely. I could imagine, Stephanie, I could imagine that was surreal. A 5-year-old really can't comprehend, a 4 or 5-year-old kid can't really comprehend what's going on. I mean, my nephew was in kindergarten when it happened. So live every day to the fullest. If you could donate blood, that's very true. You could do that. Jose Torres, welcome. We got quite a few people running across the bridge today. Making our way making our way to City Hall Park right now. If you're just tuning in. Over here, the crowds are pretty good. Pretty big crowds here. All right, two unbelievable landmarks. And you know, of course, once again, New York is always the, what is it to be a human being? The human experience. You know, New York really tends to encapsulate it. We have a guy here with a very, very large selfie stick here. Wow. Got a 360 camera on like a 15-foot long selfie stick. Wow. Good evening, Scott. Doing great. Not too many motorcycles out, but I mean a lot of traffic is on the traveling over the bridge. Every day, 91,000 people cross the Brooklyn Bridge, whether it be on foot, on a bicycle, in a van, or small truck, or many cars. Making our way into City Hall Park now, be our next vantage point. Then we're gonna walk a little bit down Broadway to Trinity Church. And then ultimately we'll make our way to the parking garage where these lights come from. And then we'll make our way up to Memorial Plaza. Municipal building is right there lit up. Municipal building, and perched on top of the municipal building is a statue. Her name is Civic Fame. Civic Fame is made of copper, clad in 24 karat gold leaf, holding up a crown. The crown has 5 points in it, one for each of our 5 boroughs here in New York City. Good to see you, Kisker. Yes, indeed. Watched a live stream this morning of the ringing of the Bell of Hope. The enduring link between the cities of London and New York. The bell is only rung on September 11th, at the time of the first aircraft strike at the North Tower. The bell was cast in the Whitechapel Foundry, the same foundry that did Big Ben and the Liberty Bell. Watched that live stream this morning, and very poignant. It's nice to see no vendors up here so far, but I see the vendors further down. The building with the gold pyramid, that is number 60 Center Street. 60 Center Street. It's a federal courthouse. And if you ever see the inside of the rotunda of 60 Center Street, it's an amazing, amazing rotunda. Incredible architecture. Fawn Marie, good to see you. We're right now making our way to City Hall Park. We have off in this direction here, we have One World Trade Center and the Woolworth building to the right-hand side of that. Woolworth building, the tallest building in the world in 1913. And the only building in skyscraper history to be paid for its construction in cash. Roughly $14.5 million. Good to see you, Zalico. Welcome. It's a very fancy courthouse. Yes, indeed. It's beautiful, though. Check out the I know on my Instagram I have a picture of the rotunda. So, you know, Jack, I feel lucky that we didn't see any of the turntables up here. I'm very happy we didn't see any turntables up here. There you go. 60 Center Street is the New York Supreme. Oh, it's a Supreme Court building. It's not even a federal court. Okay. It's a Supreme Court building. Okay. Supreme Court for civil. Okay. There you go. Oh my God. Law and Order, Blue Bloods. Yeah, all those shows use those courthouses over there. TV, movies. Joe Hernandez, yes indeed. Never forget. The federal courthouse is at 500 Pearl. There we go. Neil, thank you so much. Mac the Fox, I appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in every year. Andy, good to see you. Welcome. What do we have going on here? Excuse me, please. As we now make our way into Manhattan. And we're going to have a really cool view from City Hall Park coming up next. There's all these little iconic views that I have. Basically, I show every year. We do this pretty much the same walk every year. So, my $1 water guy, he's out of here. He took the night off. My $1 water guy is usually right about here, and yeah, he's not here right now. That's like the hardest working guy on the Brooklyn Bridge. I'll see my $1 water guy tomorrow morning at 11:50 when I come over the bridge tomorrow morning. All right, this is Center Street here. This is where Center Street becomes Park Row. You're more than welcome, JJ. I'm so sorry for your loss, JJ. Joe, this is my 8th year doing this. So last year, we persevered in the rain. I'm really happy the rain has cleared. Here we go. Making our way into City Hall Park. Tweed Courthouse is directly in front of us right now. We're gonna turn to the left. And then this is City Hall. New York City Hall, the oldest continuously operating city hall in the United States. The building was completed in 1811, opened up for business in 1812. To give an idea of how small the city was in 1812, the city extended just about 5 blocks north of Chambers. So about a 10-minute walk here in 1812, you would have been surrounded by farms. When they first finished City Hall, it was a kind of fancy City Hall, so we ran out of money. So we originally finished the original City Hall, or this City Hall, and we originally finished it though at the back of the building in brownstone because we thought the city wouldn't extend too far north of Chambers. Little did they know. Of course, when I walk this section of the sidewalk right here, I think of the great reporter Dick Oliver. who was reporting the whatchamacallit, it was the primary voting day on September 11th. So he was reporting on the primary, and they were in commercial break on Channel 5 when the first plane struck, and Dick Oliver went live, and he would subsequently be live from this street right here for the next 3 days, non-stop. He never left. That video, of course, the unedited video, is here on YouTube. Cody, Times Square is about 4 miles to the north from here. About 4 miles to the north. New York City is big. New York City is big. A lot more than just Midtown, Times Square. There's so much more to the city. In between Lower Manhattan and Midtown and Times Square, you have neighborhoods like The Village, Tribeca, Soho, Chinatown, Little Italy. We're gonna walk into the park right here. So we have a very interesting art exhibit here that has taken over City Hall Park. Kind of whimsical, as you could see. But this is where we're going to get an incredible view of the Tribute in Light. As we see City Hall here, let's get a quick shot of City Hall. As you see City Hall decked out in blue light for September 11th. With the municipal building right there in the background. And then we turn around and we have this incredible view of the Tribune in Light with Woolworth building. So one of my favorite views right here. The city kind of frames the lights. Yeah, and Jay Burkett, he was not that far from where we're standing right now, over on West Street, at about, like, literally underneath it. What was that? Barclay Street, Vesey Street? He was right there, roughly where the Winter Garden is. Lucia, welcome. Like I said, we're going to go into some very iconic views here. So if it was your first time seeing this, this is all done by design here. So doing this for 8 years, I've kind of figured out this kind of walk here where we could get many different vantage points of the light here. So it's pretty cool. And hopefully for you guys at home, gives you a little bit of a better idea of what it's like to actually be here. Good to see you touring different places. Welcome. Well, JR, thanks to the power of the internet, you are here. This is City Hall Park. All right, we're now going to walk south along Broadway. And our next stop is going to be Trinity Church. Scott Chrysler, you're more than welcome. It is beautiful, right, Jack? Bob Doyle, you're welcome. Tell you, this art piece here is looks incredible at night. You know, like little pieces of art like this just remind all of us that, you know, life goes on regardless. You know, life goes on. Probably the best thing you could do to pay honor and tribute to everyone we lost 22 years ago is live your life. Do what you got to do. Nick, you're more than welcome. Do we have the light here? We've got to wait for the light before we continue to cross. You probably, these streets right here probably saw the most iconic photos from that horrible day. We're all taken right about here. We're coming up to St. Paul's Chapel. The little chapel that withstood the collapse of both towers. It became a place of refuge for all the firemen, police officers, EMTs, and countless others who came down here to help out with the recovery efforts. You could actually visit St. Paul's Chapel and see a pew where many different first responders spent the night, and you can see like this pew is all cut up and all kind of scratched up. But it's an incredible sight. Of course, the fence of St. Paul's Chapel is where people left pictures and hoping to find their loved ones. And of course, we all know how that ended in many, many cases. St. Paul's Chapel, one of the oldest buildings in New York City, completed in 1797. It's the second version of St. Paul's Chapel. Does that building have a story to tell? Susan, absolutely, Susan. And then we're just up the block from number One World, right there. One World is right there. We're gonna come back up this way in a little bit. We're first gonna now make our way down towards Trinity Church, and then we'll make our way to where the lights emanate from the parking lot, and then we'll make our way to Memorial Plaza. Rodney from Los Angeles, welcome. Dwayne in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, welcome. Welcome everyone to the show. We're now working south along Broadway, approaching Fulton Street. I'm happy that it cleared up. Fulton Street Transit Center is a great example and a great moment to tell you guys that, you know what? September 11th may have been a terrible day, but it did serve somewhat of a purpose. The New York City subway system grew as 3 separate and independent systems. Each of those 3 separate and independent systems had a subway stop here along Fulton Street. And if anything good came out of September 11th, that we created this Fulton Street Transit Center. This linked up all those different Fulton Street subway stations into one massive subway hub, which links into the Oculus, the World Trade Center transportation hub. So if anything good came out of September 11th, is that we now have a pretty good underground subway transfer to many, many different subway lines here in Lower Manhattan. Before September 11th, these are all separate stations, and in order to transfer, you had to actually come up onto the street and then go back underground. Now it's all linked up. Yes, the Burger King on Fulton and Williams stayed open. Yeah, I remember that, Neil. Neil, I remember that. That Burger King is still open, amazingly enough. Of course, you had the other Burger King, which was directly across the street from the World Trade Center, right next door to where Russell Simmons used to live. And Russell Simmons filmed an episode of MTV Cribs, and you see his rooftop kind of patio there, which had a straight-on view of the World Trade Center. Unfortunately, his building and a couple other buildings on that block were completely destroyed when the South Tower collapsed. But the Burger King on Church Street and Liberty still stands today. And Nick Nagler with a $14 super chat. Nick, thank you so much for the very generous $14 Canadian. Thank you so much for joining today's $14 club. Much, much, much appreciated. Thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's live stream with a very generous $14 super chat, Canadian style. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Approaching Maiden Lane. We're right up the block from the Gold Depository, the New York Federal Reserve Bank. And on the next corner, we got to cross the street because we got to say hi to our friend. Good old double check. Let's see how double check is doing today. Looks like he has somebody sitting next to him, maybe. Okay, good. We're gonna have double check all to ourselves. Let's say hi to, this is my favorite. You want to talk about a 9/11 survivor? Double check. Originally sat on the corner of Liberty and Church, and he survived both collapses of the World Trade Center. Some firemen actually thought he was a person frozen in time, frozen in fear, but he managed to survive both collapses. He was originally placed there back in 1982, and there is a copy of Double Check out in by Exchange Place in Jersey City, New Jersey. It's a really cool remake of him, covered in all the various flowers and firemen and police officer patches that people left on him in those days, weeks, and months after September 11th. But this is the original right here. He survived. Unfortunately, he was moved up here a few years back because some of these horrible 9/11 picture book sellers were using him as a point of reference. And I beg you, if you come to New York City, please don't buy a random picture book from random people in the street. There is an official 9/11 picture book sold at the 9/11 Memorial Museum and the Tribute Center. Some of that money does go help out some of the families of the first responders. But he's still looking for that pen after all these years. And he did pretty good in the rain today. There were a few different beams that were extracted from the site that were in the shape of crosses. There were a few. The metal, the steel didn't necessarily bend like that. It was cut. It was cut from the structure itself, and formed those shapes. Nicole from the United Kingdom, I appreciate that. Sending love right back to you. I wish I could show you guys the. I wish I could show you guys the Bell of Hope. But unfortunately, but of course, the cemetery at St. Paul's Chapel is closed at this hour. But we'll see that again in the future. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to see that. But now we are making our way to Trinity Church. Across the street here. Across the street here. So we cross Broadway once again. And then you got to get a pretty incredible shot here. So now we have Trinity Church coming into view. And then right behind it, there it is. Let's actually get a view from right here. Let's stop right about here. This is incredible because you can see the particulates in the air from here. Right here behind Trinity Church. So now, as you see, as we get closer to Trinity Church, we're getting closer and closer of where the tribute emanates from. We got right across the street here from the church now. This is an incredible view from right here. As you see, some other photographers, once they figure out this shot here, this is an incredible shot right here. We're gonna walk right there into the buffer. And right here. Here we go, guys. Trinity Church. Beautiful stained glass windows. Trinity Church. And yeah, Hamilton's right here. I want to say though, the cemetery should be closed, but we can say hi to him if we go around the side there, so that's what we're gonna do. You like that shot? It's one of my favorite shots right there. Actually, there's some traffic coming down Broadway right now. we gotta keep on going. Let's go down one block and we'll cut across the street here. Yeah, the cemetery's closed, as it would be at this hour here. What are the things flying around the light? That's just like particulate matter. It's just this stuff in the air. Various dust. But here he is. The lights aren't turned on. They have lights on them now. I guess not tonight. Newly restored, newly cleaned up. Here's the grave of Alexander Hamilton. Right here. When you talk about the history of Lower Manhattan, it's the history of the United States. It's all right here. And to think that he's buried right here. Now they do have to shut the lights off periodically because of birds getting lost. So the lights do shut off from time to time. And yeah, just stuff flies up there. And when we get closer, you'll see more and more of it. Approaching Church Streets. And we're gonna turn the corner here because now we're getting ready to, we're just about at the base of where these lights emanate from. And to think that in less than 12 hours, I'll be taking my express bus right up this street. Life goes on. So these lights are set up on top of a parking garage at the entrance to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. And everybody comes here to get a view. This is where most of the people come here to get a view. And this is one of the more spectacular views, is right here. And here they are. So we have here the Battery, Brooklyn Battery Tunnel parking garage. And here they are. Here is where the lights emanate from. 88 xenon bulbs, 4,000 watts each. Can be seen up to 60 miles away. The lights go about 4 miles into the sky. Les nos et kia ora. It's amazing how you can look straight up and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. A different take, I'm very well aware of that. I'm always meeting guests from around the world who have no idea that this was the nation's first capital. Happens so often. Yeah, let's stand right here. We'll stand right here in this curb cut here. can't get, pretty much can't get closer than this, is right here. Looks like some of the lights are being dimmed right now. Yeah, the lights are being dimmed right now. Sometimes the lights go up periodically for the birds. And also sometimes the lights need to be maintained so they don't overheat. 4,000 watts each. So yeah, they are dimming the lights right now. Of course, the lights will come on momentarily. So there you go. The lights have been shut off. This is to allow so that no too many birds don't kind of gather in the light. They do get kind of thrown off by the light, but they're gonna come on in about the next 10 minutes or so. But Yoon Jean Young, welcome. Norman Roberts in Bangor, Pennsylvania, welcome. Somebody playing a wrestling video game. I hear music from a wrestling video game. Let's keep moving. Let's go to the other side here. We're gonna make our way to the other side here at the tunnel. Dirty D, are you really allowed to go to the roof? Is that true? I don't know how to get up there. That's the thing. I don't know if I'll be trespassing. I know. I've seen people go up there in the past, but I don't know if it's kosher or not. And I don't want to take my liberties too much here, so you know, let's just come around. Elevator for Marie. Oh wow. All right. Really, guys? It's okay? It's okay on tonight? Let's see. Let's see. They say that we could go up there. So let's see if we could go up there. You need a press pass? I don't have a press pass, Cammy. Let's see. See an elevator over there. Let's see, guys. Let's see if we can go up there. Good to see you from Weehawken, New Jersey, Wolf Bride. So you don't need a press pass. You could just go up there. Let's see. Doesn't hurt to ask. That's true. Let's see. Oh yeah. It's possible to go on the roof? Alright, guys. Alright. I guess we're going up. Yeah, where is there? Well, we got an elevator. Wait for the next one. They want us to shout. No shouting. Looks like we've made it. Okay, guys. We've made it. This is my first time actually seeing this from here. I've never come up here before to see this, so this is going to be pretty interesting. Now the lights have been shut off temporarily to allow the birds to kind of clear. All the lights are set up right over here. So let's see here. Let's see if we can get a little view here of these lights for you guys. Guys, thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, they're right here. They're right here. Come over here. They're right over here.
Series 7. I took the Series 7.
Can we actually see them? Okay, so we can't actually see the lighting setup. This is a Dutch Moz first, that's for sure. All right, we're just gonna hang out here until they go back on. Let's see here. Let's see, can we? Yeah, they're right on the other side of the wall. They gotta turn on again soon. We're covering something totally new tonight. Never seen this before. I know that when these things turn on again, this is going to be very powerful. So let's just take a look at the skyline here. They're going to turn back on. They're going to turn. They're going to turn back on. Just got to be patient. And see, life goes on. The dogs bark again. That's for sure. Nikki A, welcome. And yeah, thank you so much, Phyllis, for your very kind donation. Phyllis has literally been paying my cell phone bill, so thank you, Phyllis. Christine J. Smith, absolutely. Extraordinary beauty in darkness. And when these lights come back on again, this is going to be certainly a sight that I've never even experienced before. So this is a first for me too, so. But 88 xenon bulbs, 4,000 watts each. And we got a beautiful view of the World Trade Center, yes indeed. Beautiful view of One World. Yeah, they might be overheating too, horse level, yeah. Yeah, JJ, I think we'll be good. But Creative Time and the Municipal Art Society, they're the ones who put this all together. Good to see you there, JK, welcome. Sidewinder, welcome. Good to see everybody, people waiting to see these lights turn back on again. Darth Vader from Indiana, welcome. We got a Duchess sighting, that's right, for just a moment there. There's One World. This is kind of pointed that they're shut off right now, so we're gonna see these turn on again. They usually turn off for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. Nebul, bienvenue. Nebul, we're on top of the Battery Park Garage right now. The Brooklyn Battery Tunnel Garage. And we're waiting for the Tribute and Light to turn back on. I didn't know you were able to come up here, so this is pretty cool. Oh yeah. A lot of new construction downtown, JJ. A lot of new construction. No, Hertha, it's not crowded at all. Maybe about 50, 60 people up here. Not too many. Absolutely, Bob Doyle, absolutely. Just got to be patient here and wait for these lights to come back on again. I've never seen it from this vantage point before, so this would be pretty cool. They set them up periodically to let the birds disperse. Sometimes birds get lost in flight. But if you're just tuning in, we're now at the Battery Park Tunnel Garage, and here's the crowd here. It's not too big. Crowds are pretty light up here. Luke from Mexico, welcome. But yeah, not too many people up here, as you see. Cody, not from this vantage point because there's buildings in the way. We'll just keep on hanging out here, looking at One World here. By the way, in this direction would be MetLife Stadium, so can't see it from this vantage point here. Photos from around New York. I'm doing great. Red One Love, welcome from Minnesota. Oh, awesome, Cody. Yeah, we can't. The MetLife Stadium would be in this direction here, the direction that we're looking at right now. Just tuning in, we're waiting for the tribune light to turn back on. We're now on top of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel parking garage, the battery garage. And we're waiting for the lights to turn back on, the tribune light to turn back on again. I love this vantage point too, Ben. Yeah, about 15, maybe 20 minutes are going to be off. Yeah, no, the birds they fly into the light sometimes and they get lost. Yes, it does, Josh. It does seem like yesterday. Good to see you. It does seem like just yesterday. Beautiful view indeed, Sally. Really a different vantage point that I've ever even seen myself, so this is going to be good. Oh, and they're coming back on. They're coming back on, guys. Here we go. Tribute lights slowly, gradually turning back on again. All the lights are not turned on yet. All the beams are turning on. Lights are still coming on. 88 xenon bulbs. 48 for each tower. You can see the lights, yep, 60 miles away. 4,000 watt xenon bulbs each. Robinson Lopes, good to see you. Welcome. There you have it. So the lights emanate from right here. It's incredible how it looks here at the base. Yeah, you know what, photos? I've never seen this before either, so thank you guys for telling me to come up here. Yeah, Margaret, I'm happy I'm able to show you guys this too. Yeah, this is how close we could get, Neil. This is about as close we could get. The rest of the roof is, I got some barricades up here. So this is as close we could get. Yeah, it does kind of looks like that, right, Dinda? So the lights come in every year. The Municipal Art Society and Creative Time put this together every year. All right, just like the infinity point on One World. Very reminiscent of that. Not really. I mean, I guess only this building right here the light kind of shines into, but for the most part, no. The lights really don't shine into any of the other apartments. I highly doubt anyone really minds for this one night that they're on or the week leading up. I'll show you the scene here before we go back down. This is as close we could get. It's right about here. You can see all the lights are set up right here. We can see those some 88 xenon bulbs right over there. Look at that massive lighting setup over there. Just huge. What's more impressive is when you just look at this in its totality. It's pretty impressive. Rough Dog, you're more than welcome. Mitchell, I think that's just how many they have. How many they use. I don't think there's any like symbolic number in there. Lizzie K, welcome to the show. And there you have it. There is our view from the rooftop here of the parking garage. Pretty impressive. Thank you guys for telling me to come up here. I think we have a new spot on our tour that we're going to check out now. And TK Porsche with a $100 super chat. Holy cow. TK Porsche, thank you so much for your very generous $100 super chat. Thank you so much for joining today's $100 club. Much, much, much appreciated. That's very kind of you. With a very extremely generous $100 super chat. That is very, very kind of you, TK Porsche. You're more than welcome for the coverage today. You're more than welcome, TK Porsche. Thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's live stream with a very generous $100 super chat. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much. That is very generous of you. Guten Tag Maverick from Germany, and I think they're 4,000 watts each, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's head back downstairs. Let's head back downstairs. See that one shot. Wow. Wow. Okay, let's head back down the elevator. And we're gonna make our way down up West Street now. There you go, 88. Oh, there's 7,000 watt bulbs. I misspoke. 7,088, 7,000 watt xenon bulbs. The lights do not change color. No, they do not. All right, take an elevator back down. Who's gonna win? We got two elevators in the lobby. Xenon bulbs are very expensive. You thought thousands of kilometers away. Although you live thousands of kilometers away and lost no one. Oh, absolutely. Never forget. Imagine the view from space, right? Yes, indeed. We're going back down. Thank you. One more, my love. One more. One more level. But thank you so much, Neil, for putting that link in the chat. We're gonna lose a signal here for just a moment here because we're in the elevator. We're almost done. All right. All right. Ooh, that air conditioning felt nice. Hey, this way, this way, this way, this way. Never forget. All right, guys. Let's go back out onto West Street. I'm happy we were able to maintain the signal. That was incredible. Yeah, I imagine like flying into town. If you're coming in for a landing right now at LaGuardia especially, must be an incredible sight. All right, what are we gonna do next? We are gonna cross the street here. This is the exit to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. And I'll be beginning my work day here in less than 10 hours actually now. I'll be coming right out of here on my express bus. Yeah, Maverick, it's kind of tough every year, but I make myself watch that too. Got to be a little careful here because they are coming out of the tunnel. Let's see if we could be rebels and do this. Here we go. You're more than welcome, Stephanie. Have a good night. Arjan, you're more than welcome. Margaret, you're more than welcome. In the box. To the box. You're more than welcome, Zalika. So the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, the Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel is Red Hook, Brooklyn. Red Hook, Brooklyn. Your mom watches me all the time. Oh, that's awesome, H&T Hemi Life. Thank you and your mom for watching. Appreciate it. Glad you guys enjoyed the live streams. Horse Lover, have a great night. Chris MG Vlogs, good to see you. Welcome. Winding down. We're in the final act of our tour today. We're going to make our way now up West Street. And ultimately, we're going to finish at Memorial Plaza. Final views of the Tribute and Light now coming up. Kind of saw the Tribute and Light from now many vantage points, including where they emanate from. We went on top of the parking garage for the first time. That was incredible. Especially seeing those beams of light turn back on. Those 88 7,000 watt xenon bulbs. Turned back on. That was very impressive. So now we're waiting to cross the street here. We're right here. And those are the birds. Unfortunately, birds. No, we're staying on Horse Lover. We're going to end at Memorial Plaza. That will be our final view. We'll do a walk around Memorial Plaza. We'll say hello to Survivor Tree. It is past 10 o'clock, so Memorial Plaza may be closed, but we will be able to pass by in front of One World Trade Center. So we'll get our closing shot there, and then we'll end by the Oculus. And that is where me and the Duchess will hop on our train and go home. But we're not done yet. Not done yet in the slightest. Still have some more views to take in. Battery Tunnel is now the Hugh L. Carey Tunnel, as the sign says. But let's cross. Let's cross. We're gonna have the light over here in a moment. We're crossing West Street. Everything on the right-hand side of the screen, all of Battery Park City, is built on landfill created from the construction of the original Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. When they built the original Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, they removed some 2.7 million cubic yards of dirt and debris. They placed all that dirt and debris on the west side of West Street, creating the entire neighborhood of Battery Park City. And wow, yeah, the birds have really taken to it. Wow, you know, I think that's the most birds I've ever seen in the lights. Robinson Lopes, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Ian, good to see you. But all of this entire neighborhood you see across the street, Battery Park City, this is all built on the landfill of the original World Trade Center construction. When they dug down some 70 feet to bedrock, they created this entire neighborhood. Music, I did not see the rainbow today. We couldn't see it in downtown Brooklyn, unfortunately. But we were in the rain, though. We were in the rain. But there you have it. There are the twin beams of light once again now. We're looking at it from the west side now. In a way, yeah, Battery Park City is very much a part of the Twin Towers, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Twin Towers. If we were walking here, where we're walking right now, in 1970, 1969, we would be walking in the Hudson River right now. We will be firmly in the Hudson River right now. Maybe about 30 feet off the coast, the original coast of Manhattan Island. In fact, half of the original World Trade Center site is built on landfill created during the British era of New York City. When they were building the original Twin Towers and they were building the bathtub, as it's called, of the World Trade Center, they actually excavated out an entire ship from the British era. It was incredible. But half of the site is Hudson River. Incredible engineering. This is the thing that a lot of people don't really understand about World Trade Center, is that there's a lot of engineering going on. Offenbrug, welcome. So now we are walking along West Street now. Turn on the 1X lens here, it's a little too dark. Yeah, Radio Row is where people bought transistors and vacuum tubes, and it was a thriving neighborhood. I mean, it wasn't a blighted neighborhood, but it was a neighborhood that the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey owned a lot of property in. And also the PATH train loop, the terminal building, was in this area that is today the World Trade Center. The original concept of the World Trade Center was actually in the South Street Seaport area of Manhattan, on the east side of Manhattan. And because it's the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the governor of New Jersey wanted to be able to, and I'm quoting here very kind of out of context, he wanted to be able to see the buildings. So thus they moved the location of the World Trade Center over to the west side of Manhattan to create a new transit hub for the PATH train, Port Authority Trans Hudson trains, as they're called, the Hudson tubes. And originally the World Trade Center was supposed to be only 80 stories, but Guy Tizzoli, the president of the World Trade Center, president of the World Trade Center, he said, can He asked the architect Minoru Yamasaki if he could add an extra 20 stories because they were so close to that world's tallest title. Minoru Yamasaki, he had some more actual plantings in the plaza originally, but because those buildings were just a little bit taller, couldn't put as many plantings to his liking, but still turned out to be a hit. Now, it was way too much office space. The original Twin Towers were some 11.5 million square feet of office space. And the fun fact about the Twin Towers that a lot of people don't know is that they were not fully occupied until the mid-1990s. Way too much office space. The original Twin Towers complex had more office space than the entire central business district of Houston, Texas. That's how big it was. So incredible bit of engineering there. Again, you will never see, if you ever experience the Twin Towers personally, you've experienced something that will never be experienced ever again in human existence. We will never build buildings that light ever again. Of course, the New World Trade Center, designed for the worst case scenario. The core of all the buildings at the New World Trade Center, 2.5 foot thick reinforced concrete. Also the core of the New World Trade Center. The cores of all those buildings are pressurized, so in case there is a fire, smoke will be forced out of the elevator shafts and stairways. The stairs are double the width of New York City code. So 2 firemen in full gear can walk up the steps while 2 office workers can walk down the steps at the same time. And also that glass is not your everyday glass. It's kind of like windshield glass. Triple pane explosion proof glass within a plastic membrane. If that glass were to shatter, it would to shatter into such small pieces that it will not cut you. The last remnant, or one of the last remnants of the original World Trade Center is right here. This is the footbridge that used to link up with, today it's called Brookfield Place, but back then it was called the World Financial Center. This used to link up with a street level parking garage. And this is where the Greek Orthodox Church used to stand. But this footbridge here, this footbridge survived the collapse of the South Tower. And then number 3 World Trade Centers to the left, number 4 World Trade Centers to the right, number 1 World Trade Center is right there. Just behind that, number 7 World Trade Center. At the base of that, we'll eventually get to see a large cube that is technically called number 6 World Trade Center. That's the Performing Arts Center here at the World Trade Center. Which is going to be opening in a few weeks, I've heard. So in a few weeks, the World Trade Center, Performing Arts Center, will be opening. The name of the memorial is called Reflecting Absence, designed by Michael Arad. Composed of 274 white swamp oak trees, and of course 1 calorie pear tree. That is Survivor Tree. Survivor Tree surviving both collapses of the World Trade Center. 3 weeks after the terror attacks, the workers here at the World Trade Center noticed that the tree was still planted and it was still alive. So we sent it up to Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx. We nursed it back to health, and it returned back here to the World Trade Center. I can't believe I get to say this now. 12 years ago, it returned back to the World Trade Center here as a part of Memorial Plaza. As we enter Memorial Plaza, we will be walking down a memorial within the memorial. We're going to start out here at the Memorial Glade. This pathway we're about to walk down is roughly in the same spot as the loading ramp. The ramp where all the materials came out of was roughly in this area right here. And this pays tribute to everyone we have lost since September 11th. So along this pathway here, we have upthrustings of Manhattan schist, the bedrock of Manhattan Island. And embedded in the rock is steel from the Twin Towers. And Memorial Glade kind of leads us to the only tree that's pretty much formerly lit. Here it is, my favorite tree in all of New York City. Survivor tree. Survivor tree is a calorie pear tree that used to stand where roughly 3 World Trade Center stands today. Here's the South Tower of the World Trade Center. We're now going to make our way to the North Tower. And actually we have some flower displays here. If you do visit Memorial Plaza, I really do beg you to refrain from leaning on the names. There are plenty of spots where you could sit down around here if you need to, but please don't lean on the names. You might have noticed there was somebody doing that, but the voids here, as they're called, are exactly where the Twin Towers stood. But to be exact, there are 274 white swamp oak trees. They're not exactly, there's not a real meaning behind the number and the placement of the trees, but where the last line of trees are before you touch those names, that's where the wall would have been for the Twin Towers. So when you are touching those names, when you're up to those names, that you're literally within the lobby of whether it be the North or South Tower. But it's nice to see people being, for the most part, respectful. And the Performing Arts Center, with its translucent marble, is quite impressive. I'm very excited to see this open up in the next few weeks. Another sign of resilience. And look at this beautiful shot here of One World. So let's go to the infinity point. We'll go to the infinity point right now. This is no doubt looks really, really impressive right now with the low clouds over it. All right, here we are. Here's the infinity point. Just a couple of more scenes here. We're gonna have one more moment of silence here by the North Tower before we bring this live stream, bring it in for an end here. You could even smell the bouquets here. It's incredible. And Jim, thank you so much for donating a very poignant $9.11 super chat. Thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's live stream with a very generous donation. I really do appreciate that. And thank you so much for donating tonight. Okay. Well, that would make sense. Beautiful lights here at the World Trade Center Performing Arts Center. Soon to be opening. This is technically number 6 World Trade Center. And impressive structure here with its translucent marble. Incredible performance space to be opening in just a few weeks. Unfortunately, we're not going to be going to the Sphere, because me and the Duchess are going to hop on the train right here at the Oculus. So we'll see the sphere in the coming weeks. We'll be back here as always. Unfortunately, it looks like they shut off the Tribune and Light again because of the birds. Looks like there were quite a few birds gathering around there. But Ridge, welcome. And this is where we come to an end, right here on the corner of Greenwich and Fulton. Right here. Well, of course, we never forget. But never forget also means that we live our lives, and living life is hopping on the train, riding the train, going back home to our loved ones and all that good stuff. So I want to thank everyone who joined us tonight for this walk around New York City. And thank you guys so much for all the super chats, all the thumbs up on the video. Thank you thank you guys all for your kind words. And again, thanks for joining me and the Duchess here on this little walk tonight. If you're new to the broadcast, make sure to subscribe to the Dutch Maz Family Networks here on YouTube and on Instagram, all same name, at Dutch Maz, and make sure you hit the notification bell because I never know when I'm gonna go live next. But from the World Trade Center, here at the World Trade Center, this is the Dutch and Duchess signing off. Have a great New York day, whether you live here or not. Hug your loved ones, cherish those sweet moments. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Nighty night, guys. Take care.